What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Basketball Adjacent Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. I am your host, Jerrold Smith. It's been a minute since we hosted a podcast. We got some new content coming for you soon, but please, if you haven't already, go check out The Sweet Life Los Angeles, streaming now on HBO Max, all 10 episodes. My friends and I put our lives, our hearts, our souls on camera for y'all to see, for the entire world to see. The reception has been amazing. It's been great interacting with y'all on Twitter, on Instagram, on socials. Shout out to the boss lady Issa Rae, my bestie, my auntie, for giving us this opportunity. Everybody out there for streaming the fuck out of this show, man. It's crazy. Just walking through my city and seeing everybody, how they love the show and noticing us on the billboards and from the show. It's crazy. But last time you saw my podcast was on the show. Shit got a little tricky. But at the end of the day, podcaster for dialogue, podcaster for conversation. We gonna talk some shit. We gonna talk that shit. At the end of the day, it's all love. I got another very special guest with me here today. I got my boy AC, who runs Beach City Hoops. AC, what's going on? How you doing,
what's
my guy?
Poppin', man? I'm glad to have.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to be here.
No doubt. I appreciate you for pulling up on the pod. We have been talking about it for a little bit. I appreciate you for showing love, showing support, and listening to the episodes, dog.
Absolutely, man. I see my boy Max Has on there, Jerry on there. I was like, man, I gotta sit down and shoot the shit with Jerrold, man.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
It's crazy, man, because this basketball world is so small, man, especially in LA. It's like, we probably crossed paths so many times, but, we would just follow each other on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially stretching back to like high school, because I know you was a sophomore, I was a senior.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling how many times we may have played against each other, or just been in the same gym and didn't really know each other. But then eventually everybody just be connected through hoops, man. That's the beauty of the sport.
The basketball Twitter world, especially, like, good people find each other, man. They be shooting the shit on Twitter. We be talking about players, games
all the time, reflections. Just thinking back, and we just talking about what's going on now. Like, the whole landscape has changed significantly since we was in high school. Man, and I love being part of it now.
Say that. So I wanted to have you join me on the pod, because we was talking some shit, shooting the shit, and I had never really addressed kind of the area of high school basketball. I feel like, and I know that's kind of your forte, your specialty, and the things that you're looking to do in the community right now.
Definitely.
I appreciate you pulling up so we can talk about it a little bit. But first, I want to get into you. Obviously your career. You were a hooper at one point in time. Still a hooper now, I'm sure. Whenever you can get up and down.
When I can, I try to. Man, kids will see me put down my camera and shoot. They be like, "Wait, you know how to shoot?" I be like, "Oh boy."
These kids don't know that at one point in time this was life.
This was life, man. Sometimes you just gotta take the next step forward, and I love the process of what I'm doing now, helping kids gain more exposure, just being around the gym, seeing kids grow up. Like, this 2021 class that's in college now, I remember when I was starting, this was really the first freshman class that I really saw grow up. So I'm like, dang, I'm not really new to this no more. I'm kind of a vet in this. Still a young vet, but still just watching it all unfold is truly heartwarming.
Yeah, bro. So talk to us a little bit about your personal hoop journey. Obviously, you're from Long Beach, came up through Poly. Tell us, give us your rundown.
That's right. Home of scholars and champions. Don't y'all forget it. But I graduated in 2011. Won a CIF championship under Sharif Matoyer. I played with Ryan Anderson, Alexis Moore.
2011. Was JB there? Drum Bell?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah. He was like seventh man.
He was my year, so he was like he was probably a sophomore.
Yeah, he was a sophomore.
Freshman, sophomore.
Him, Rashawn.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of guys on that team who could play, man. My boy Brandon Staten, Chris Kroon. My boy Ernest, he ended up going to Villanova to play football.
You throwing out some names.
Yeah,
dog.
we had some dogs on that team, man.
Long Beach Poly was always stacked, from what I could remember.
Bro, we had some dogs, man. Sharif instilled that into us, and it carried over when we got to college.
Yeah.
And we won the CIF championship 2011. We didn't get to compete for state, and it still burns me to this day. I know some of the guys from modern day, and I always think like, dang it, we should have beat y'all, man. I still get mad over that, but everything happens for a reason.
It's always tough, dog. We had that one year when I was at Bernard's. I think it was I want to say my sophomore year. We went to state that year. Like, we lost in the CIF championship. We made it to state regionals, won state regionals at the buzzer. Ended up going to state. Nobody thought we were gonna make it to state, and we made it to state. We lost at the buzzer at state by 3, bro.
Who'd y'all lose to?
We lost.
It was so long ago.
It was so long ago. I don't even remember. It was such a gut wrenching memory. I try and shove it down.
You just try to be like,
I try and shove it down.
I'm already knowing how that goes because it just be like, man, just one possession.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it just be like,
Bro,
dang.
that's the toughest. That's the toughest.
I mean, looking back on it, I really enjoy it because I'm close with a lot of those guys today. Like most of them are my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, we still chop it up. You know, through life and everything, like as we're growing in our careers and everything, it's, you know, like basketball adjacent,
Yeah.
like basketball
Literally, bro.
connected all of
That's
us. And so now,
Yeah.
like, we
It's
still have
always
those friendships today.
It's always love. Like the
Facts.
biggest thing that I appreciate about, basketball in LA, not just on Twitter, but like how we were growing up, and even as it's changing right now, it's just always been a community.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
I met some of my best friends hooping, whether or not we hoop now. Like those are gonna be my guys forever because we went through those. We was talking about Reggie when we was first playing.
Coach Reggie.
We was running lines with Reggie, and so we done been in the trenches together.
Reggie,
you know what I mean?
If Reggie Morris is coaching, expect to track me. That's what you can expect, man.
We literally we played Westchester one night in the Westchester tournament that they have every year, and we lost. And I remember walking back to Burners. We was on the track that night in the dark after the game. Dog.
He had you on the track at night?
That night after the game,
Reggie, no
running.
way you had them on the track at night.
Hey,
There's
man.
no way he had you on the track at night.
Reg, if you listen, then I gotta get you on the pod to confirm. That'd
be a great one to have on the pod, man.
Yeah.
He definitely has an extensive basketball knowledge.
Yeah.
Yo.
So talk to me about what that journey looked like for you after poly.
Well, after graduating from high school, I was an unsigned senior, and so I did well. A lot of D1 schools recognized like my ability. They knew like I was a tough player, could defend, but they questioned my offensive ability, and so they were kind of like, "What is he? Like, can he really score? Can he hold up?" And so it got to a point where I'm like, I don't even really care about going D1 no more. I just want to play in college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I played in the summer, and this is why I completely understand why guys still try to play in the summer, because I was fortunate enough to draw attention from Academy of Art University.
Yeah.
Now, this is back in 2011. Not too many people knew what it was. I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
But
they got a solid program now.
Yeah, they definitely built it up, but I'm gonna be real. I made it cool to go there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Say that.
Like the homies saw me go there,
Say
it was
that.
hooping, it was like, okay, see holding it down. But going into it, my first year I had the red shirt, and I just felt like I was too good to be at a Division II school. Like not even being, I'm not trying to brag on myself or, trying to just act like I'm just, God's gift to earth or anything. But I just knew I played against some tough competition. I knew what I could provide for a team.
Yeah.
All I needed was an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I said, look, I feel like I'm too good to be here. I feel like I should be at a Division I. So I'm going to show and prove that I'm not just a typical Division II player or anything like that. And I'd like to say that I held it down.
Yeah.
Out of 3 years that I played in college, I scored 1,000 points.
Yeah.
So I was getting buckets.
Yeah.
And I make sure I let people know that. I'm like, hey, you ain't gonna take that away from me,
Yeah,
dog.
I feel you. I feel a lot of people are sometimes discouraged by that unsigned senior route. I have some kids that I mentor right now. One of them, he's a bit shorter like me. He's trying to figure out, I'm not getting as many offers.
It's tough, man.
And it is, but it's also like, just hoop, bro. The offer's gonna come. The looks are gonna come. What's meant for you is gonna be for you.
I think it's tough because, like for me, I was seeing two of my best friends sign, and I'm just watching it, and I'm like, dog, like
I understand.
Nobody want to at least give me a shot. Like
I understand.
You put me in that position, like I'm not gonna let you down.
Yeah.
And so, it was just like changing the mentality, like being more confident and just saying, fuck it, like if I get a chance, I'm going to make sure that people feel like my presence as soon as I step on the court.
I feel like that's kind of when a different mindset clicked for me, because I was also an unsigned senior, but at Bernard's, going into my senior year, I was the guy. Like I averaged about 25 points a game. We was playing in Mission League against Bishop and Sarah, and not Mission League. What is that league called?
That's Delray League.
Delray League.
Yeah,
Delray. Bishop, Sarah,
That's a
whoever.
good league.
Yeah,
It's still a pretty good league
Yeah,
too. But I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they changed it up a little bit
Yeah.
because they changed it a couple times because um what's that called? Cantwell ended up
Mhm.
being in it, but they're not in it no more. And
Mhm.
Saint Anthony moved
Yep.
into it, and it
Yep.
made a little more sense, like
Yeah.
demographically.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 405 type league.
Yeah.
Then you include Cathedral. They
Yeah.
were out for a minute, but overall, it's still a good league.
Yeah. But that was like, going into my senior year unsigned, finishing my senior year unsigned, I was like, shit. So I was like, is hoop over for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I had to realize, like, I had a couple of little looks from like UC Santa Cruz, which is a D2, if I'm not
I think they
mistaken.
D3.
D3.
I'm not sure. It don't matter.
UC Santa Cruz, like Oberlin College. I could have went to Cornell and walked on, but I decided, like, at that point I was like, yo, I'm 6 feet on a good day. I love to hoop. I'm gonna make it work somehow, but I need to focus on this education. So that's when I decided to go to UCLA, and thank God was able to walk on at UCLA.
You don't think that with going to one of those lower division schools that you could have had like a deeper career and still make good connects?
I thought about that too, because when I was walking on UCLA, like, don't get me wrong, like, it was some fucking hoopers at UCLA, you know what I mean? Aaron Holiday, Norman Powell.
It's UCLA, man. Like,
yeah, but you know what I mean?
That's basketball hierarchy.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. But like, I was holding my own in practices. When I got in the game, I make something happen for myself. And there was definitely times where I was sitting in the locker room or sitting on the bench thinking, like, damn, like, as we play those preseason games against a Monmouth or some shit like that, I was like, I could have went to a Monmouth and hooped, and I'd be right here on the same court playing against UCLA right now. But at the same time, like, I learned to blaze the path for myself a lot earlier, and realizing that it was much bigger than basketball, because I don't know if you know Olin. Yeah.
Olin siblings?
Yeah. So
Olin,
I used to work out with Olin when I was younger. He used to say, man, a point guard, a small guard is a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Like, it's 60 spots on the draft board every year, and they not looking for a little nigga like me most of the time, unless I'm doing some really spectacular shit. And I could hoop, but I wasn't doing no really spectacular shit. So I was like, let me figure out some shit that's adjacent. You know what I mean? Let me see where basketball can take me. Thankfully, I ended up hooping at UCLA, met some of the best teammates, coaches, boosters, people ever that helped me get to where I am today. But
and it's crazy. Like, I listened to your Labs podcast when you were talking with Max, and he brought up how his brother was the same way. And I know Jacob as well. I know Jacob more than Max, but I typically see Max a little more. You know what I'm saying? But he said this. I mean, I remember you mentioning that, and I never thought of it in that capacity. It's like you're meeting boosters, like people with money, people who can get you a job,
and
people
that's
who
the
can do that kind
thing,
of
and
stuff.
that's one of the reasons why I want to start this podcast, bro. Because and if you listen to the Sweet Life episode, shout out to Rob Lee, who's one of my castmates on the show. He talked about how
Which one is Rob?
he's Amanda's boyfriend, dark skinned guy. He's from Chicago.
I'm trying to picture. I'm drawing a blank, but
it's all good.
I'll check it back out later.
But one of the things that he said that really stood out to me is, we preach, if you're a hooper, if you're a ball player, your way out is making it to the league. That's it. That's the end goal. We don't ever tell kids they can be agents, they can be coaches.
Yeah,
they can.
That's definitely something
you know what I mean?
That gets overlooked, and it's just like there's so many more ways. Like you said with basketball adjacent, like, and I love the way that you titled that, because realistically, there's a lot of components of being basketball. Like, you could be a referee. Literally. You're still part of the NBA. Literally. You can work on being a scout. You can work on being a coach. You can work on being an editor. Like, there's so many components to it that, if you don't make the league, like, it's not the end all be all. If you want to be in basketball, there's still ways to be in basketball.
I feel like I realized that when I was at UCLA, because I had that mindset change where it was like, okay, I'm not going to the league. I understand that, but I love the game, and even now I work in entertainment, but I just did, I work with the Smith family and I run some of their brands. I just did a collab with Adidas basketball. Like, there's ways to still marry yourself to the game without having to play the game.
It never
and I feel
really
like
leaves you.
It
like,
never leaves you.
It's always gonna be part of you, no matter
as long
what.
as you put that shit into the game, like, the game is gonna reward you whether you playing or
That's
not.
a fact.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Yeah. And so that's one thing that I feel like I realized when I was at UCLA. Seeing the video coordinators and the strength coaches and the assistant coaches and everything that goes into, just being around the game. And I feel like that's something that we need to let people know is more available.
Yeah, there's more options than just only putting the ball through the hoop. There's a lot of things that you can do to help the success of a team, a program,
Right.
whatever it needs, whatever the needs may be. Like,
Right.
there's a lot of things that can happen.
So what was that transition period like for you once you stopped playing? So you went from Poly to Academy of Arts and then you transferred to East Bay.
Yeah, I transferred to East Bay around 2014, 2015. I had to sit out, unfortunately, lost out on my junior year. That's a story for another day.
Mhm.
Then I played 2015, 2016, had my senior season. That's where I hit my 1,000-point mark.
Mhm.
Played my last game. Man, I think I've only cried so hard so many times in my life. That was one of them, man, because
Yeah.
I realized, like, that's the last time I'll
Yeah.
ever have guaranteed basketball.
You know, it's crazy. So when last game of my senior year, we were playing in the Sweet 16 in Houston, I think. No, Indiana against Kentucky.
Oh, that was
Against
lit.
De'Aaron Fox. Yeah,
Man, he
yeah.
lit y'all ass up.
Yeah, that was a game for
I
sure.
was a big fan of Lonzo. I like
Yeah.
Lonzo because of just like the just energy he
Yeah.
brought to the team.
Oh, bro, most amazing dude. One of the most amazing dudes that I could ever come across. When the HBO show was announced, one of the first people to hit me up, be like, "Yo, bro, keep doing your shit. We watch and we support, and like I love that dude, the mentality
He
he
seemed
takes
real
towards the
genuine.
game."
I've never met him.
And
I've
that's it.
been around
And
him,
that's
but I
it.
never got to say, "Yo, what up,
Yeah.
man? Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
What's crazy is he posted one of my videos.
Yeah.
He Demo played in Jordan Bell's celebrity
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he posted. I was like, "Hey," I texted Eli. I was like, "Hey, tell bro to tag me in that video," because I was almost at 20K and I knew
Yeah.
that would put me over the top. Because I mean, he's popular,
Yeah.
so it was definitely helpful. So he didn't have to do that. So I got much love for Zoe. Shout out Lonzo if you see this.
Yeah. But like always love, always genuine. So tell me what that transition was like when you. But I was saying that to say, even though I wasn't playing a ton, I get what you mean, because we were sitting in that locker room.
Feeling,
season was over. I was like, fuck, I'm done hooping.
That's it.
Yeah, I was crying. So what was that transition period like? How did you come to terms with it and kind of know that you had to move on?
So how that really started and how I got in motion with BC Hoops, I remember that I had a roommate and his name was Alex too.
Mhm.
And we both really liked basketball, and he would always talk with. This was around the time Chino Hills was like in their second year of being Chino Hills, and he would be watching videos on YouTube. He like, "Yo, this is so dope." And I remember we were driving to Chipotle one day, and he said, "Bro, I'd be down to go to some of these games and make highlight videos." And it's like I had an epiphany. I was like, if I do this, I know I'm gonna take it up a notch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
And so I said, "Bro, why can't we?" And then we started going. The first game I ever filmed, well, I didn't film it, but I edited it, and it was a learning process. Was at Moreau Catholic,
Mhm.
and shout out Frank Knight. He's the head coach over there. That's my man. Still got mad love for him. And what I did was I went there. I didn't really know high school basketball anymore. Like all I knew was Poly
Yeah.
in Long Beach, and a couple schools like Mater Dei. Like I don't know who's good like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then I'm in Northern California when
Yeah.
I'm starting this,
Yeah.
so I really don't know shit.
Yeah.
So I go on Google and I just search up names, and I'm like, okay, who's good that's not too far from me that I can get to at least, start, getting the framework and
Mhm.
figuring things out. And I come across a name. His name's Damari Milstead.
Mhm.
He graduated 2017. He was a pretty good player. I watched him, and it just so happens that he had a teammate named Kyrie Walker.
Mhm.
He was a 8th grade phenomenon,
Yeah.
and then he still was a very good player when he was in high school and everything. He caught a bad rap, but Kyrie's a real genuine kid, man.
Yeah.
Like I got mad love for him, mad love for his family. They showed me love as I was, getting my start with everything. Was still figuring out Instagram and how all of this works as far as putting highlights up and content and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, that's how I really just got started. And then another kid, his name was Timmy Falls. He went to Dublin. That wasn't too far. It was a little bit of a drive, but man, when I say like it was tough, I was like, I didn't have my car up there.
Yeah.
I was hopping on BART, getting
Yeah.
to events and everything. There'd be days I was going into the gym and it was like 10 in the morning. I wouldn't get back to like 9 p.m. and not making $1, bruh.
So with it kind of being in its inception up in Northern California, where did obviously you from Long Beach, So how important was it to you to have, the Long Beach ties to it being Beach City Hoops? At what point did you decide to brand it that?
Well, everybody on Twitter be cracking the jokes about Long Beach and everything, and I'd be like, go to hell. Like, every city got weird niggas. Like, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny to poke at, Long Beach. But
Yeah.
I suck at creating names, honestly. Like, I'm more of a guy that just gets stuff done. So I was just like, I'm from the beach. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just kept that title with me, and it just worked. As much as I love it, and I love the logo and everything, shout out my boy Davis. He made this logo years ago and never knew how much it would change my life. But, you know, I kind of marginalized myself when naming it that. But I'm like, I'm too deep in the game. I'm too recognized by it to ever change it. So this is what we rock it with.
Yeah.
But when I first started doing it, I remember I called one of my closest friends. I said, Camp, bro, I'm done. He said, wait, what? I said, I'm hanging it up, bro. I got to do this. Because, I was a year off of playing, wasn't in the same shape. And I know how hard it is, especially coming out of a D2, trying to figure out the ways to, really climb up in the ranks. Like, whereas, if I take this camera and try to make something happen out of that, I really think I can do something. And I know myself. Like, I can figure out social media well. I know a lot of people. And I'm a hustler. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to just get it done. You know what I'm saying? It's all about just making it happen. Like, everybody that know me know, like, if I really put something into something, I'm going to make it happen.
So then describe to me what Beach City Hoops is at its core. Like, what, obviously, you talk about you got your start by, saying we could record these games, and you went out and recorded these games. But what is the bigger purpose behind Beach City Hoops? The mission, the values, what you hope kids to be able to get out of it?
Well, I know that, like, with bigger brands, Baller Visions, Baller's Life, I'm actually part of Baller's Life as well. But Slam, all of those companies, there's a much wider audience of players. Yeah. And I wanted to shed more light on more players than just the same popular people, because even when you was at UCLA, I'm pretty sure you would see, I don't want to say that they can get repetitive, but I had to think of it from a different scape, because those audiences are catered towards specific players. So it's kind of harder to give your audience new, fresh content, and then it's not received well. And then you spent all the time, resources, and everything trying to build something new, and it didn't work. So with my page or in other pages like that, you're able to really see just, oh, wow, there's this kid that goes to whatever high school, he got game. Like, I didn't even know he was averaging 27 a game. Yeah. Like, I've had multiple college coaches tell me that, I saw your video on so-and-so, he's really good.
Like,
so when I hear that, I never would have seen him. Exactly. So a guy like you, or like myself, like, we probably ain't gonna be on Baller's Life, you know what I'm saying? But there's a bigger chance that we can be on BCAs. There's a bigger chance that we can be on some of these other, smaller scale channels and pages, because, they're more widespread. Yeah. And so I wanted to not just clout chase. Yeah. Like, that shit weak.
And I appreciate that, because it's all about having access to resources like that. Because if you ask my dad, back when I was in high school, he'd have been like, that they everybody coming to see the same kids, or every team, every program is pushing these same kids. Like, it's kids, it's niggas out here that's hooping just as good, playing against them, but because they got the name, because they got everything behind them.
Well, what a lot of people fail to realize is that there is some truth to that, but it's like I said earlier, like, some of these channels, they get their most, dividends out of said players. Like Josh Christopher, for example. Bro's a superstar. Yeah. Like, high school wise, like, he was a superstar. He was entertaining. Yeah. He was a ball player. Like, he was a killer. You know what I'm saying? So he's fun to watch, and he's really good. So he's out of here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a hit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you might have this kid who is really good, but he's not as fun. He's not as much as a draw. Yeah. And that's not to say
I never thought about it like that.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to put it in a different perspective for people, and they start to understand. But, that's why I told our superiors at Baller's Life, I was like, yo, we should make the secondary page, and, it's sort of like an ear to the streets page. So it's like, you can get a Baller's Life video, not the 6 million page, but you know, like we got almost 50,000 on there, so it's verified. Like Ballers Life sees you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of love. It's widespread.
So how have you in partnership with Ballers Life and still building Beach City Hoops, because I'm sure that it's nowhere near what you want it to be just yet. How are you kind of making a career out of it, or what do you hope for it to become?
Well, I tell people all the time, money talks. So you want to hire me for some footage and everything, we can make it happen.
Absolutely.
So I tell them, I'm like, I give them my price breakdown.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Hey, you got some players on the weekend. You want to get some footage. Holla at your boy at B City Hoops, bcityhoops@gmail.com. Holla at me. But yeah, I tell them that because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta feed myself. I gotta pay bills. I got a car note. I got all of that stuff. So it's like, I don't mind spreading love, but it's like, you hitting me up asking, yo, I need you to come out, blah, 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 blah. I need some footage of this, so. Okay, invoices here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the rates.
Simple as
that. I tell event managers, if you would like us to cover your event, we can provide a lot of highlights for you because, we do diligent work and, it's all about exposure because at the end of the day, people thrive off visuals. Mm-hmm. People want to see things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as people want to say, oh, this mixtape era, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? A lot of kids have gotten scholarships and
based off of them
gotten all this.
Yeah.
And then with this NIL thing taking place, the visibility is king. Yeah. Like, so you see it, you get a tag. Ain't no telling how many followers you can get, how much, because at the end of the day, you can't look at it as just, oh, it's cloud, it's this and everything like that. You have to change the narrative on that and say, this is business oriented. I'm trying to build something up from it. It's what you make of it.
A lot of people don't realize that. They get caught up in this kid thinks he's this and that because he has so many followers. But like, that's literally how I approach Instagram, dog. Like I've made a decent following, since being at UCLA, since doing some of the kind of brand deals I do, and now with this show. And it's kind of like, you got to look at Instagram is a business, dog. Like you building your own audience, your own consumer base that wants to see you and the things that you're doing and the products and brands and people that you're associating with for a reason. And I feel like a lot of people fail to realize that. They get so caught up in I don't have as many followers as this person, so I'm gonna be a hater and not.
It's like, what are you doing to build yourself up and make yourself like recognizable?
Exactly.
It's they can't just marginalize it. They have to really, just think outside the box with everything like that. And so you can't look at it as just clout chasing. Now too. Same with Twitter too. Twitter's very important. I tell kids all the time, like, you don't have a Twitter, like, this is how, like, coaches can read your name and read up on things because of you. Like, a lot of evaluators, their biggest thing is Twitter because they can type in your name and an evaluator.
And I'll say the basketball community is even bigger on Twitter now than it is on Instagram. 100%. Shout out to Josiah, because Josiah is a great leader of that culture. That's my big homie.
That dude is a fool, man.
That's my big homie. He be doing his thing with NBA Twitter and just showing love to everybody.
Every time there's a topic, Josiah, you can count on him cracking the joke, man. But he's smart because he recognizes it's like, yo, if I keep making these jokes, being more recognizable, people keep on seeing this. Yeah, they're gonna, approach me with business and everything like that.
I like to think of Twitter as like, because I'm young, like my main source of news. Like I hate watching like ABC, CNN, because that shit is depressing
that's
sometimes.
A fact. I mean, it's right there on your phone.
Exactly. But like, especially for basketball, like it's so accessible. Like the videos, being able to correspond and respond to people faster.
Could you imagine being able to get a highlight video of yourself, posting it on Twitter, and a bunch of college coaches just follow you, email you, call you?
I can't, because when I was in high school, I'd go to an event, they'd have somebody there filming, I'd wait 2 weeks for them to cut it up and put it on YouTube and not tell me that they put it on YouTube, and I just randomly be searching myself one day and, oh shit,
social media, I truly believe that social media has done more justice than harm.
Absolutely.
In the overall aspect. Because think about an evaluator with, 6,000 followers, and how many head coaches, assistant coaches, AAU programs following them, and they seeing your name consistently pop up. Like,
absolutely.
Jerrold Smith, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
Absolutely.
And they see that 4 times over 2 weeks. It's like, where's this Jerrold Smith's kid's Twitter at? Let me follow him. Let me, pop out to a game, that kind of stuff. It's just so much more just so much more exposure. I love it, honestly. I love that there's more exposure camps because at the end of the day, when I was in high school, we had like
It was
3
far
of
and
them.
few, yeah.
It was very few.
Yeah,
So it's like
it was like
kids.
ABCD, the NBA camp.
Exactly.
And,
like only so many things were going on, and it's local. Like there are guys like you yourself. You could host one tomorrow, and you can get some kids to pop out and just hoop.
That's a good idea.
Basketball adjacent.
We'll talk. We'll talk about that.
Hey man, you know.
We'll talk about that. See, money talks. Money talks.
Hey, man, I'm chock full of ideas. I can't give away this game for free, man. What am I doing, man? It should have been off the mic, but it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. So, was there ever any alternative options for you as far as like, or anything? Obviously, we talk about money talks, and for the right opportunity, you take that. But was there ever any other opportunities that you were looking to explore? And it could be basketball related or unbasketball related.
Well, me, I knew I wanted to be in basketball or some kind of sport. So I actually went to academy. What drew me in was the fact that it was a scholarship, but also they offered, classes that were predicated towards sports commentating. Everybody that know me know I love to talk, I love to argue, I love to do all that. But I don't really like to argue just to argue. I want to learn. Like you may have a perspective on something that I never thought of, and that just fuels my knowledge. And that's what I'm all about, because at the end of the day, like, you want to learn. That's the biggest thing, is just learning and consistently just growing. So that was one of them. And then the other one was possibly coaching. Okay. But that one probably would have been like, I would have probably wanted to be more toward the college level. But sports commentating was ultimately number one. Never in my mind did I ever think that I'd be doing like highlights and it would be, taking care of me as a job. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Realistically, I feel like natural progression is to be a video coordinator for a school, which leads into some sort of college coaching down the line, if that was ever a thing. Because literally exactly what you do is what I remember the video coordinators, the video development guys doing at UCLA, filming highlights of games, of practices, cutting it up for film, getting paid a lot to do it.
They do, but man, I don't know. I don't like really being tied down to one pro. I think I'd have to be in the NBA if I was going to do something like that.
That's very fair.
But that is definitely true. I just truly think that, like, I like being on the floor. I like being around, knowing who kids are. Because then, like, if I work for a school, I don't really know what's out there. Like,
you lose that aspect of being in the community.
Exactly. You don't have your ear to the streets the same way. I can't call up a coach. Like, me right now, like, I can call up a coach and say, hey, coach, I got this kid from so-and-so high school. He got game. He'll give you buckets. He'll give you defense. He'll do whatever you need to do. And then that coach can follow that kid, and boom. Like, word of mouth is a thing, man. I've definitely spoken with college coaches who followed up with some players, and they've ended up, getting a scholarship to the school. I've talked with a coach, and I helped my friend get a GA position. So, I don't know if I could do that if I work for, a school, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm limited.
Yeah, it's power in having that widespread network. So many things that you can do, as opposed to, you put yourself in that system. It's like,
exactly,
all right,
because I need to be able to just go, man. Like, that's just my thing. And so I'm glad with that. So, but you never know. Somebody might offer me some crazy check, and I might have to just be like, we can make it work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you see yourself running BCH forever?
I can see it for a long time, man. I like being in the gym. I like watching basketball. I like being around it. I got a little cousin who's playing right now. I'm trying to help him, take the right steps. I'm making sure I get highlights of him, filming him, and just, getting him in the right places at the right events and everything like that. And I really appreciate his dad trusting me with, like, helping them make decisions, because this is foreign territory and he knows that it's different opposed to when I was in high school and, when some of our other family members were in school, because it's just, everything is just changed. Like, the landscape is just so different, like I said earlier, but it's a good thing, because the whole point of time progressing is growth. And if we're not growing, like, we don't ever want to stay stagnant. It's all about just development and growing.
Yeah, absolutely. What I appreciate about what you're doing, truly, and we talked about this when we first started connecting, was, just the opportunities that you're providing to younger kids in the community, because how tough it is. When we were coming up, we didn't have these opportunities.
And that's where I go back to the exposure camps. Like, you have so many other opportunities to just be seen. Like, I know that these camps don't always guarantee something,
Right.
but what they're gonna guarantee is that some eyes will be
Right.
laid upon you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, if you're competing, somebody may see it. Like, nothing in life is guaranteed,
Yeah.
but opportunity, like, that's the biggest thing that you could really ask for. Because
Yeah.
think about if we was in high school, we could have had like 2 or 3 different unsigned senior camps that we could have attended, and
Yeah.
there were coaches sitting there.
Yep.
Like, yeah, we may not have gotten a scholarship, but there's a bunch of coaches in there
Right.
that got to watch us,
Right.
that gave us another opportunity
Right.
to, just have eyes laid upon us while we're
Yeah.
playing.
So I mean, you mentioned it a ton, and we've talked about it a little bit. Is your first unsigned senior event kind of the next progression of BCH?
My first one, I already did them.
Oh, you did one already?
I've done like, how many have I done? I've done 2 of them.
Really?
Yeah, I started my first one back in 2019. We had about 3 kids get scholarships out of it.
Wow, I didn't
And
know
then
that.
this past, I did the other one in June because 2020
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going to be
2020
fire too. I was
2020
hot.
was fucked up, yeah.
Like, and the worst part was COVID hit, like the COVID where everything just shut down. It hit literally a week in advance. Like, I was hot. Like, I had a great weekend set up. We was going to have the unsigned senior showcase. We was going to have our all-star game. Then me and my girl was gonna go on vacation, and then the world just
Yeah, the world just shut
went
down.
black. I was
It
like,
cut everything off.
I was like, we couldn't wait one more week, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I've had 2 of them so far. They were very well received. We had over 40 collegiate representatives this past year.
Wow.
So, I'm doing
So then-
everything I can to make sure coaches is sitting there
Yeah.
watching these kids.
So then, what does is your focus? I know that your focus has been unsigned seniors. Is your focus always going to be unsigned seniors as far as events? Do you feel like that's going to progress to being like a Frosh Soft camp, an all-star invite only camp type thing? You know what I
It's
mean?
funny you said that because I actually I've done more events. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I told you that. But I told you about my SoCal Clash event.
Mhm.
I got the idea from an evaluator in Northern California. He has the NorCal Clash, and with his blessing, I say, yo, I want to bring this idea down to Southern California. And I did my first one at St. Bernard's.
Really?
In 2018, summer
Wow.
2018. Shout out Mitch Runco. He helped me
Man,
get the
Mitch
gym.
not even there no more.
Nah, he moved to Nebraska. He got a good
Yeah.
opportunity.
He-
We talked about
yeah.
it, and I'm happy for him.
That's-
And he
that's
grew
my
up
dog.
there, so like,
Yeah.
that's home. So
That's my dog. So Mitch was my coach senior year at
oh,
Bernard's.
okay, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I've done what, 3 SoCal clashes. The first one was 2018. I had a couple Pac-12 kids that participated. I've had plenty of collegiate signees and guys, and I made an alumni list, and I was like, yo, this is a very good list. And then in 2019 is when I added girls.
Yeah.
So the beginning of this year in January, before the season really started, I did like a small one.
Mhm.
I told all the parents, yo, I found this venue. Please be aware it's very small, but I want the kids to still play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it this summer.
Yeah.
Time.
Time.
Oh
COVID.
man,
Yeah.
this one was gonna be good too, but I just couldn't deal with the stress of trying to replace people when I had already lost out on certain names and
Yeah.
everything. It was just like, you know what, it's dead.
Yeah.
Let's just come back 2022
Yeah.
and we'll be good to go. But as far as doing like Frost Soft Camp, Dino's got that one.
Yeah,
I leave that one
yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
But I do want to make more things. I just want them to make sense. I want
Yeah.
there to be a purpose and a drive behind
Yeah.
it.
Not just for fuck's sake of making.
Yeah,
it.
nah,
Yeah.
because it's just you wasting time. Like, I
Yeah.
want something where there's writers there. I want to make stuff
Something that's
competitive.
impactful,
I want
yeah.
guys to come out and say, "Oh, okay, he nice. Yeah, I'm gonna make him prove that." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That kind of thing. And I don't exclude, 2-star and 3-star guys. If you can hoop, you can hoop.
You can hoop.
Like, it don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Like, we gonna pick
None of that rating
everybody.
shit matters. It never mattered.
When
Never
you
mattered.
look, rankings can't save you between them lines. They can't.
Say that.
Like, at the end of the day,
Say
like,
that.
it can't save you when you get on that basketball court. Like, what was it when Texas lost earlier this year? Shout out Rashad Phillips. He made the analogy talking about how the smaller school with the kids that live in that state, they're itching to play somebody like
Yeah.
that. They're hungry
They
because
hungry.
it's like, I got overlooked for him.
Right.
All right, I'm
All
gonna
right.
make him show that.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna show you what you missed out on.
yeah,
Type shit.
and then that was probably the biggest upset in that school's history, and
Yeah.
now it's like, well, damn, like our season's over.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So, I'm all for guys competing. I hate when you step on the court and you just nonchalant. It's like, nah, we need guys to really get after it, go
Yeah.
at each other's necks. Like, it ain't no friends in that rectangle, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, shit,
Absolutely.
man. I appreciate you for everything that you're doing for the community, not just for basketball, but for the bigger purpose. We talked about my purpose in starting this podcast is just to give people this information, let people know these opportunities and the things that you're doing are out here for kids, especially because at the end of the day, we got to let these kids know what's available for them and the levels the places that it can take.
And it's like you said, it's not just one lane in basketball.
Right.
That's what the whole point of Jason is. It's like basketball could lead to this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Like there's so many more options and alternatives. Utilize it as a vehicle to your next step. And you're providing a good outlet, man. Like I listened to them pods and I was like, yo, man, I've been meaning to get on podcasts. Like I want to do more of these, and I just didn't know too many of them. Then I saw yours. I was like, yo, I gotta get on this one.
I appreciate
eventually.
you, bro. Hopefully I'm filling that white space for a lot of people to where it's like they're looking for, to learn more about the game, to learn more about what the game can offer, to learn more about what the game can lead you to learn more about how the game connects to shit that don't got nothing to do with the game.
Absolutely,
at the end of the day,
absolutely.
to be honest with you. But
I definitely want to connect you with some players, so that way they can talk and you can get a feel for them, and you can get out here and know more of the field. Because obviously you're busy,
bro, but at the end of the day, exactly like you said earlier, it's all about learning.
Exactly.
And everybody that hops on the podcast brings a different perspective that I can learn from, whether it's a professional, an adult, or a kid who's still trying to figure shit out. Like being able to understand the way they approach certain things and why they approach certain things is a blessing, because you're stupid if you just look at shit, one way.
Man. You gotta have a broad perspective on all of it.
I appreciate you. Anything else that you want to let the people know about what you got going on? Anything like that before we wrap it up?
I'm just getting ready for the season. I just recently decided that I'm gonna make a regional type all-star game for the seniors.
All right.
I decided upon it today. It's gonna basically be 4 of the main counties: LA, IE, Orange County, San Diego. So be on the lookout for that sometime after the 2022 season.
For sure. Plug your socials and everything like that too, man.
At Beach City Hoops on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. What else I got? I think I got Patreon. Oh no, I think I just made the Patreon just so I can have the @ name and don't nobody try to wave it over my head like, you gotta give me 10 bands for that.
Look, because I'm still trying to get at Jerrold Smith on Instagram. Dude won't even respond to me.
Jerrold Smith.
That's a lot of Jerrold Smiths. My dad's Jerrold Smith. I'm the second.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't think your dad on. Is
your
dad on Twitter?
No, he's not. But it's people out there the same.
It's not. It's not too. I mean, people can be named that, so it makes them 100% sense. But I hope you do get that, man.
Well, it don't really matter.
Ain't you verified on Twitter?
Now, yeah. Oh, not on Twitter. Not yet on Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
Easier than that, you verified?
We'll talk about that. That's another conversation. But
my bad.
No. I appreciate you for pulling up, man. I'm your host, Jerrold Smith, on all socials at Jerrold H. Timms. That's at JERROLD. H. Timms is Smith backwards. Thank you so much to my guest, Alex Carmon, founder, operator of Beach City Hoops. I appreciate you for pulling up, bro. CEO, you know what I'm saying?
Black-owned business, baby.
Black-owned, support black-owned businesses. Support black-owned and created TV. If you have not already, I'm going to hammer this shit into your head because I want to do another season. Please go stream the fuck out of Sweet Life Los Angeles on HBO Max. All 10 episodes now streaming. More podcasts coming soon. Promise they won't be as messy as they were on TV. But sometimes shit happens. I appreciate y'all for listening. I'm your host, Jerrold Smith. This has been the Basketball Adjacent Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network.